My predecessor and his extreme MAGA friends are now going after diversity, equity, and inclusion all across America. This MAGA threat is a threat to the brick and mortar of our democratic institutions, but it's also a threat to the character of our nation. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. An extreme movement led by my predecessor and his MAGA Republican allies, backed by an extreme Supreme Court, gutted affirmative action in college admissions.
Well, I've listened to Biden, I've listened to Obama, and I've listened to Clinton. They all claim that MAGA Republicans are somehow evil and sinister and want to change the fabric of America. Yet it was Obama who has publicly said that he wanted to reshape and change the fabric of America. So this has all gotten me to thinking, and if you have a pad and paper, I would really appreciate it if you would just take two columns, as I have done, and write Democrats in one column and MAGA in the other column. And you define the top 10 characteristics that you believe it epitomize both parties, which is what I've done, and I'm going to share it with you today. We did this on a radio program about 3 weeks ago, and I've gotten a lot of comments about it. I've just focused on MAGA at that point, but well, here's a clip from Hillary Clinton. Let's let her lead us into this segment.
You know, to just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that. And he has lifted them up. He has given voice to their websites that used to only have 11,000 people, now have 11 million. He tweets and retweets. They're offensive, hateful, mean-spirited rhetoric. Now, some of those folks, they are irredeemable, but thankfully they are not America.
They hate while they're accusing others of hate. Now, I've watched Donald Trump now for a good, 8 years, and probably 9 years. I've actually have watched him even before that, studied him from a business perspective as well as a celebrity. I just have not heard him engage in hateful speech. Now, he doesn't like his opponents, and he doesn't like his critics, and he is a fighter, and he will go after them. But I have never heard him or any Republican wholesale broad brush the Democrats as anything hateful, just like Hillary Clinton did, and like Joe Biden has, and then Barack Obama, who wants to change the fabric of America. So, as I was saying, I have made a list of what I think epitomizes Democrats and what I think epitomizes Republicans. I would like you to compare my list with yours, and then let's see at the end who we would rather identify with. So, progressive, liberal Democrats appear to want to tear down our culture. They vandalize and literally destroy our historic and cultural remembrances. This isn't what Republicans do. I have observed that Democrats utilize lies instead of truth. And you're watching on the screen America's #1 top liar. Democrats love big government. They've engaged in the most reckless spending that we've ever witnessed in our entire nation's history and in any of our lifetimes now. And someday it's going to have to be paid. Today, the federal budget deficit exceeds $34 trillion. This year alone, the deficit is going to exceed $1.3 trillion, which is where we roughly are, and we're just barely halfway through the year. This year's budget deficit is up 42%, and the interest on the debt is $185 billion. And it is rising rapidly. By 2028, it will be the single largest line item in the federal budget. Now, people who go against the norm or who don't subscribe to the the company line, the government line, are censored or canceled. They don't care whose lives they destroy. Rudy Giuliani, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, they just throw them in jail and ruin their lives. Good men who have fought and sacrificed for our country, who have worked for the American citizens, and their reward is their lives are absolutely terrorized. Democrats fight the Second Amendment. They want gun control, all while opening our southern border. And why do they open the southern border? For their own political greed and power. They don't like the police. In fact, they want to defund the police, and they have. And in places where they have defunded the police, violent crime and other crimes against persons and property have skyrocketed. Of course, I'm thinking of Chicago and Detroit and San Francisco, places that really just fundamentally do not like the police. Well, while they get us into wars, they simultaneously weaken our military. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are the motto of the day. And those values prevail over meritocracy. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a liberal Democrat and you want to change the fabric of America, and you don't like law enforcement, and you don't like the American flag, you just take a knee. So you tell me. You can do it in the comments, or you can always write to me, johngordontruth@gmail.com. I love to hear from you. I'll read it and I'll answer you.